Oh boy, here we are back again. Philips-University Marburg. Yeah, my third alma mater, I must confess. So, yeah, mixed memories, I'd say. Uh, Rather bad ones when it comes to Lehramt Gymnasium English. Um, Traumatic, I would even add. So let's get into it. I always wanted to do this video since I finished in 2018. Actually, it was the law department that threatened me to not release this video, threatening further actions if I did speak about it. So anyways, I have to do it. So my story is about how the course is structured and personnel in particular that you find at Philips-University in the Department of English, particularly those who aim at teaching English as a foreign language to German native speakers. To start with the circumstances of my doing is I finished a study program in political science. I did a PhD in environmental sociology. I wrote the doctoral thesis with magna cum laude in English, so it was good enough for that. It was not good enough for actually passing the final test. I changed university to Gießen, where I finished the language test with 12 of 15 points. So now I'm a happy teacher and I never faced any problems with my level of English. Anyways, the way how university courses were structured in these years, this was from 2016 to 2018, is basically, as you know, from very different universities where you might have studied before or you did not. You select your courses, you do this and that, and everything is actually fine. I mean, the structure is good. People and the secretary administrative staff forthcoming and so forth. The only issue is actually with language teaching staff, namely the female staff I got to know. It seems to me that they are basically lacking the competencies in didactics of how to teach a foreign language to a native speaker. So basically the idea is you have to reach a C2 level in a language to become C2 in terms of the common European framework of reference. So native speaker level to become an English teacher in a German class, which is ludicrous in itself. And seems to me rather like a reasoning for making the final test in a way that it's not predictable whether you pass or not, and you are at the grace of these very language teachers who just grade as they please. The problem actually is that they have the idea of monolingualism, which is a proper tool for teaching a foreign language. I also do this all the time at school. But they also do it when it comes to grammar, which is not as logical, which is not as clear why they do that. In particular, they seem to have a focus on a particular way of understanding grammar rather than seeing English as a language that is spoken very differently in different countries. I've lived 1 year in Australia. I worked in Israel. I worked in Canada. All this before I did the study program there. And I'm by far not the only one facing the problem in that Modul Abschlussprüfung 2, the MAP 2. After the MAP 1, you could have guessed already that the problem might be this or that. But the problem actually is they are not really willing to explain that what is called in teaching Erwartungshorizont. So what is that what is expected? What is that what you should do? What do you need to reach as a level in order to accomplish this task? And the problem is also with the German university system, which no one really can understand why. And the point is, if you don't pass a test twice, it's not only that you are not able to repeat this test at this very university again, it is also you are not able to do this type of test at any university in Germany again. Which leads to the point that a lot of people that want to become English teachers, which in Berlin, in the federal state of Berlin, are in high demand, Mangelfach, if they don't pass this test, this MAP2 test twice, if they fail the final exam, they can never become an English teacher in Germany ever again. Which gives these middle level staff of language teachers at university such a high degree of power, which they, I believe, personally abuse to cover up their own shortcomings. It is a way of like how they threaten students, not only me. You may want to ask around. They threaten people, they expel you from courses you have taken, even though there is no mandatory obligation to be every week in class. If you don't come, they expel you from your course. They are also the ones always repeating how important this last final test is. And it makes very much clear, like by the failure rate of people that don't pass the MAP2, that they are like key and for the lock to finally become a teacher. And the lack of personality in teaching actually links to the didactical shortcomings as well. Shouldn't their qualification not be that they are able to explain to a German native speaker mistakes we usually do? I didn't learn that in their classes. I learned that by myself, studying books, and then now after teaching for about 5 years. This is not what they do, but this is what they actually should do. And this is what their job is supposed to be. And this also brings me to the department leader of Fachbereich 10 at that time, Professor Philips, who is actually not much interested in regulating this behavior, even if mentioned, and even if protests occur from students. So it is this whole arrangement that brings you to the basic problem that I believe because of this structure, if this has not changed in the last 5 years, because they regularly change the Prüfungsordnung all half year, so that it's even difficult to complain in legal matters to decisions made, because at the time when this reaches any court decision, the Prüfungsordnung is not up to date anymore. It's an older one, already reviewed 2-3 times. It's unclear to me whether this happens on purpose, but it's more like you are always like struggling in getting the current version of the Prüfungsordnung, what you are studying right now, what is actually the obligation, what do you have to do. But I mean that when I do this review, it is more that I made such good experiences in Gießen, at the university in Gießen, where you can basically study the same. You can even live in Marburg and study in Gießen. You have very friendly staff. You have a very good professor, Hallet. The language teachers are very nice. All native speakers, as far as I experienced, they teach you very good English. They answer your questions. And first and foremost, and this is my main point, they don't create an environment of fear among students, which we know by neurological evidence and empirical studies blocks our ability to learn and to perform. It is only a period of half a year from not passing the MAP2 in Marburg to then reaching a very good degree in Gießen. And then, the staff in Marburg always uses excuses like, oh, well, we are just very demanding, and in Gießen and other universities just so bad, and it's just not on our level. Let me be frank. A language teacher in English at a German university should be aware of the demands in school. We start basically with an A1, A2 level in English, and what we want to reach is a B1, at best B2, C1 level. No German language teacher needs a C2 level in a language. And if someone who has studied so long as I did and lived in a foreign country, who obviously speaks the language sufficiently for teaching it to others, is not able to pass the MAP 2 test, then we can basically conclude that no one with reasonable experiences of like being much younger than I'm has a reasonable chance, unless it is not up to like being at a certain level, but rather being at the grace of these language teachers, and also being able to like resist the threats of an environment that is not aiming at helping people, at teaching people as teaching should be, but rather in like performing or feeling better than the students, being impolite, being aggressive, being insecure as well. So these are basically my accusations, which I just want to state as my personal opinion. And after 5 years of teaching, I'm very confident in saying that I think the Department of English, Lehramt at Marburg University does a very, very bad job. It's a very bad job. It was an experience worse than the Referendariat, which everyone says is very demanding and very challenging. So all in all, I cannot recommend to study Lehramt English in Marburg. I can recommend living there. I can recommend being with the students there. If I were to study Lehramt English for Gymnasium, I would be studying in Gießen. Let me mention Timothy Kurzweil. Tim was such a great teacher, such a nice man, so forthcoming. I cannot judge the others, but he was really one of a kind. Really, really good. And I would probably live, or most likely live in Marburg, because it's a beautiful city. Elisabeth School is a great school where I did replacement teaching for half a year. And the city itself is lovely, with a lot of bars. So I suggest you check it out. And I hope you find my comment as useful, as I found it revealing and clarifying for my own reconciliation.